No, you're making it up. You're making it up.
Okay, what is it? Anyway.
You haven't read the Quran, just admit it.
No, I haven't read it. I haven't retained it.
But you haven't retained a single thing from the entire Quran.
It's not like that kind
You said, and he read it several times.
Yes.
You said several times.
And then he said it's boring.
How many times?
The guy is just making it up.
Like I read
I
bits
heard
of
you
it.
said several times.
Yeah, but I have it on my table and I look at it a lot.
Okay, so you read bits of it.
look
No,
at
but
it.
I've read the whole thing as well.
If you read the whole thing, you should remember at least one. You're not that old that you lapse in memory.
Quite old.
Yeah, how old are
You come to debate about evolution and other things. You didn't remember even a single sentence there.
You have to be a believer, and you're
No.
and if you don't believe,
Have you read
bad things are going to happen to you. And there's loads of stuff about Moses and Jesus and the Jews.
Isn't that the same thing in your Bible?
No, the Bible has a story.
Okay, so which story in the Bible?
In Genesis, there's like a story. There's Adam and Eve, and they.
What do you make of the story of the
Wait a
Amalekites?
second.
Let's ask him
The
that.
problem with remembering the Quran is the Quran has no order to it. It's just like random stuff.
No, it's not random.
It is. It doesn't have.
The beauty of
by
the
the way-
Quran is you open from anywhere and it makes sense to you.
No.
Only a person who lies about reading the Quran and has never read it will say, I don't remember anything.
What's interesting? Hang on, Steve. What's interesting here?
Yeah.
Just a second. I happen to know this guy.
Okay.
I happen to know he's read the Quran. He's not studied it deeply.
So you vote for him?
What? Vouch for me.
You vouch for him?
Yeah. He's got no reason to lie to you whether he read the Quran, even if he can't quote it.
If you have read it several times,
One second.
then you should retain at least one thing, right?
Again, you're saying that, but it's not true. You're laughing.
I'm laughing based on his
What's the
argument.
point, by the way?
I'm laughing based on his claim that he read the Quran several times.
You're being rude as well.
By the way, you interrupted the conversation.
You're pointing, that is rude.
He's with me.
By the way, you're pointing, that is rude.
Okay, I won't point.
Good.
No problem.
So because you interrupted the conversation.
Yeah, you came
and
in.
You vouched for
I think
him.
he can speak for
Well, we
himself
don't know
without
you,
your help.
We don't know him, and he's here. He can talk on his behalf. It's okay. And then we could have time
No,
for
but
you.
you see, you're supposed to be a good Muslim.
And you're supposed to be a good Orthodox Jew.
By the way,
You shouldn't lie.
by the way,
Not an Orthodox Jew.
he said he used
Did he
to
not
be.
say that?
He said
Oh,
he
he
was
used
brought
to.
up. He was brought up.
Also, what are you now?
One second.
I'll tell you in a
Hashim,
minute,
calm down.
But you're supposed to be a good Muslim.
Okay,
right?
we
And
are-
My understanding is that a good Muslim has humility, has compassion, right? Listens, has wisdom.
Based on
right?
what?
And
Based on
what
what?
you've just
One
done
second.
in front of the cameras,
Yeah.
right, is insult me
Just
with
second.
poor information, making all sorts of claims.
Actually-
I haven't done.
By the way,
something I
one
said I
second.
have,
Let me
which
answer.
I have
I
done.
asked you.
By the way,
if you have read the
Hashim,
Quran, and you couldn't answer
Hashim,
that
Hashim.
question.
I've read
Hashim.
the Quran in
Why are you
English.
shouting? Calm down.
Hashim.
I've read the Quran in English.
Yes.
Right? Hang on,
And you don't remember anything at all.
And I don't remember any
Okay.
Okay, so I find it hard
Can
for
I
you.
say something?
Well, I'm telling you
When you
that
make a
that's
claim
the
that I've read the Quran several times, I
Can I
find
say
it
to
hard
you
to
something?
believe.
You said something good.
I have my
beautiful.
opinion
You
just like
said
the way
you
you
said something beautiful, which I respect. You said a Muslim which should have humility and should have respect and should be honest, which is all where we get this from. It's from the Quran. It's teaching us this. Which is, I wish that these are the things that you read in the Quran that teaches us to have humbleness, to have humility, to have respect, and to be honest. I wish those are the things that you remember from the Quran for us. Then in that case, we could have it will be not a boring thing, it will be a book that teaches us, as you mentioned,
Beneficial.
which is a good thing, to benefit us to become a better person, which is something which is good, admirable. Yeah? Now let's go back to the discussion.
Okay.
Now you mentioned about the evolution.
No.
Yeah?
So my question is this. Yeah. My question is this. Your friend told me that Islam is existed since the beginning of mankind.
Yes.
I don't understand what that means, and perhaps you can explain to me. But I want to push a bit back against that, because my understanding is that the Quran, right, is a pivotal moment in Islam. Right. It's when Islam went from there's pre-Quran and there's post-Quran. The Quran is a moment where there's a written word of God through Muhammad the Prophet, right? Okay. That's my understanding. So the day before it was written down, or the 200 years before it was written down, the world was running around. People in Africa and Australia and in Europe were wandering around, didn't speak Arabic. Even in Arabia, where they spoke Arabic, didn't have guidance, didn't have leadership, didn't have prophecy, didn't have the proper good prophecy, right? They didn't, and the Quran was not available. So why would the creator of the universe, right, let millions of people live for thousands of years, and then suddenly in 700 or whatever year it was, send the perfect prophet? And we never had any good prophets since then. Not for 1400 years. We have there's no prophet but the prophet, and that's it. Like, don't you think we could do with a prophet today? There are 122 conflict zones, most of them Muslim conflict zones in the world, and where's our prophet today? Are you a prophet? Are you? I don't know.
Okay, now answer to your question. First of all, he said to you something crucial, which is Islam was from the beginning. Islam is not just only when the Quran came down.
Right.
Islam was from the time of Adam. Meaning of Islam, submitting to God. Anyone who submits his will to the will of the Creator is a Muslim. That's the meaning of Islam.
Right.
Yes. Because when God has sent down Adam on earth, Adam was a Muslim,
right.
and the children of Adam initially were Muslims, and their descendants of Adam used to be Muslims.
Even though they didn't know they were Muslims.
No, they were Muslim. They knew what's the meaning of Islam. To submit their will to the will of God. That's the meaning of Islam.
But they didn't call it Islam.
Simple as that. No, it's as it is. That's the meaning of Islam. Submitting to God. You name it. That's how it is. Now later on.
So it's not what Islam is now.
Again, I will
pray 5 times a day.
One second.
Let him finish.
He
listened to you.
You tried to interrupt.
Listen to him.
The same thing that you accused them.
Exactly,
now we can accuse you with
I
that.
was politely asking you
Okay,
clarification.
that's my point. I'm clarifying to you. Now the meaning of Islam, submitting to God. That's the meaning of it. Now of course God has sent many various prophets throughout the history. He sent as well prophets until the time of Noah, and then Noah he was sent and he was a messenger and a prophet as well, reminding people to worship God when they start worshiping the idols, and then later on Abraham and his 2 sons Ishmael and Isaac and so on and so forth. So the point is that God has sent prophets and messengers one after another since the time of Adam, all the way to the Prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him. So all of them, they come down to remind people to go back to God and to ask God forgiveness, etc. And as well to submit their will to the will of God. Now, those prophets, they were distinct in terms of what they call it Sharia, meaning they will have certain rulings, certain things. Sharia is not just, as they say, Sharia law, is meaning, the Sharia means that, the actions and the things that you need to do as duties, as obligations, like the 5 daily prayer for us, like for example the fast the month of Ramadan, etc. Right. Now the other prophets, they come with other things. Moses, peace be upon him, commanded his people to prostrate to God, and other things. Other prophets and messengers, they commanded the people to do certain things, to do certain fasting, to do certain things. Those are part of the obligation which God has made it obligatory upon the people. Now and that's why all of the prophets and messengers, they unite in one single concept, which is worship none but Allah, means the one God alone, and not associate with Allah partners. And they made distinct in terms of certain actions, certain obligations, certain duties they have to fulfill. So not necessarily they used to be praying and fasting and doing other things, but they are obliged to do other things. So that's the meaning of Islam.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ask.
Okay, so I was brought up as an Orthodox Jew, and my parents told me that Mohammed is not a prophet, the Quran is not the true word of God, the Bible is the true word of God, and the Talmud is the way to understand it, and that Moses was the main guy, the prophet, and that Muslims are, can do whatever they want, but they're mistaken in their belief. So was I mistaught?
I will say you were mistaught, because the teaching of Moses, peace be upon him, was always giving glad tidings. There's going to be another prophet and another messenger will come. They'll come to revive what he was about the commandments of God, what God is wanted from them, and as well that the other prophets and messengers as well, they came, who was after Moses, peace be upon him. Like for example, Jesus, peace be upon him, was a prophet and messenger of God, whom he was sent to the people, who was sent even specifically to the children of Israel, calling them to the way of God, etc. Of course, some people believed in him, some people disbelieve in him, and that's the problem. Now here, I'm not here dictating what the people they should say, what they shouldn't say, but we are saying that we have to understand what is the message of the Quran, what God wants from us, what is the way to approach God and to reach God. That is the key thing, and that's what the answer is in Islam.
So here's my question. I don't believe in God, right? Okay, and what I mean by that is that I don't know the meaning of my life. I don't know the meaning of your life. I don't know how we got here. I don't know what the point of anything is. I don't know. I just live in a mystery of unknowing. Yeah. Okay. And every time anyone explains their idea of God to me, it doesn't make any sense to me at all, right? Because God is indescribable. God is is like completely in control of everything. The problem of evil is inexplicable to me, right? There's a war going on in Gaza right now, right? As we speak, literally as we speak, people of my religion are killing people of your religion, right? Children.
Your previous religion, you mean?
No, I'm Jewish.
No, Jewish by ethnicity or by faith?
No, I'm Jewish because I belong to the people and I keep Judaism.
By race.
I observe
So by
the
race.
Sabbath.
I'm talking about.
No,
so your faith.
I observe the Sabbath. I don't.
Okay, so
I have problems with my faith, but I keep the faith.
you keep the faith. You're still a Jew by faith.
Kosher. I married.
So you don't believe in
Jewish.
God, but you keep His laws.
I don't. I believe in something or other, but I
Okay,
struggle
good.
with the whole idea of God.
All right.
Like, it doesn't make.
So
any sense.
you're more of an agnostic Jew.
I'm not really agnostic, really.
You're not even
I call myself
agnostic.
a mysterious.
A mysterious.
Yes.
By the way, I respect what you said now.
Yeah.
I admire what you, and the point is, I mean, I respect what you said, that you are looking for the truth, and that's something.
Yes.
That's something which is the answer is in Islam, is the answer in Judaism, is the answer in Christianity, is the answer. Now the question, we need to understand a few things. First of all, since we exist here on this universe, we should have a purpose for our life. We shouldn't just live purposeless. We should have a purpose here. It's not just only eating and drinking, reproduction. Animals do better job.
I think our purpose is to reproduce.
Actually, animals do better job than us. And animals, if you think about it.
So they do a better job than
No,
us.
no,
So
you know what?
trees do a better job than
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So that means our
I think our
existence.
job is to reproduce.
No,
That's our job.
actually, our meaning, since we have, as you mentioned, we have conflicts, we have our decision. Our decisions not just could harm millions of other creatures. Our certain decision, with one click, you could, for example, send a nuclear weapon to kill and to destroy a whole area.
Right.
That means the higher responsibility that we have. That means the deeper purpose that we have. That's how it is. This is in our own reasoning.
I accept
yeah.
that, but I accept
for
that, but
example, you don't expect someone who is, for example, a leader of a state or a president or a leader of is not aware, is ignorant person, doesn't know nothing about politics. You expect
There are
him.
plenty of them, I'm afraid.
I know. But my point. But my point is that, of course, you expect someone with higher responsibility, the deeper of the meaning of his existence. That's why us, as a human being, we have a deeper meaning for our existence.
I think we make up that meaning. I don't know if we have it. I don't know if it's really true that you have a meaning and your meaning to stand here and speak as corner. And
No.
teach people.
I'm talking about generally. I'm not talking about specifically. I'm not talking about specific cases.
I'm saying in
talking about generally as a human being, generally the mankind.
I think mankind.
Yeah.
I think the purpose, if there is one, of mankind is just to be human, right? To experience
What do you mean?
the world.
Can you please describe to me what does it mean to be human?
It means to love and be loved.
Yeah.
And to be kind. To explore the world.
To be good.
And to find.
So by that definition, IDF is not human.
Right.
They're killing
Okay.
humans.
And to just
Yeah.
just to have
Netanyahu is not human.
find peace and connection with the world, with nature, and with other people.
Can I tell you
That's what I
something?
think our purpose is.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
The problem is this. What you mentioned.
Yeah.
It could be interpreted subjectively.
I think
not
everything is
objective.
subjective.
I will tell you why.
There's no objectivity in the world.
Meaning, no, it has
The
to
Quran
be. The Quran is objective.
Excuse me. That is a philosophical nonsense. I don't mean to be rude, but it doesn't.
You're
make
already
any,
rude by saying
No,
it.
it's not being rude. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
it's
make
nonsense.
sense.
And I'll tell
You
you
don't
why.
remember anything, that's why it doesn't make sense.
I'll tell you why it doesn't make any sense. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I'm really not trying to be obnoxious. I'm just trying to explain to you, just from a philosophical and intellectual point of view, why that can't be so.
After reading it several times.
It doesn't matter what the book is.
And not
It doesn't
remembering
matter.
anything.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't any book, Quran, the Torah, Shakespeare. Yes. What are books? Yeah. What are they? Yeah. There's ink on a page which represents a word, which represents an idea. That's what a book is.
Okay.
Right? And even if we haven't got the book, even if we're just talking words, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So what the way words work is that humans, we both read a word, say God, it says Allah, you say Allah, and we both think we know what Allah is. But the reality is that idea of those syllables going to air, Allah, and mine, Allah, are different, right? So all words are subjective. They are not objective. All books are subjective. They are not objective. It is not possible. And I know this because there's 1.x billion Muslims in the world.
2 billion.
And 2 billion Muslims in
And
the
they're
world.
increasing.
And there's Shia and there's Sunni and there's Sufi and there's all sorts of types of Muslims.
They all believe in
and
Allah.
some of them are peace-loving Muslims and some of them are filled with anger and violence. And they're the same. They read the same book. How is that possible? Why? Because they have different subjective ideas about the Quran and the Hadith and all the teaching of Islam. So there's no objectivity
I will tell you something.
at all.
One second. I will say.
Sorry. I don't want to be rude. but it doesn't make any sense.
I will tell you something, and I don't want to be rude as well to you, but I have to say it. Yeah. But
Say whatever you want. I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
That's good.
unoffendable.
But that's up to you. I'm offended. That's subjective.
Okay.
It's up
true.
to you.
Okay.
If you feel it, I don't care. But that's
Bring
how
it
it is. Any naive person will say what you said. Yeah. Because what happens
You
here?
called me naive.
I said any naive person.
Okay.
But if you
I'm kidding, I'm
consider
kidding.
I called you, that's fine.
You can wipe your tears.
Yeah. You see here. The problem is they say someone who read and didn't understand and someone who even memorized doesn't even comprehend. Those are problems with people. Some people I just know who went with violence, they memorize certain things even from the Quran, but they didn't comprehend what it means. Yeah? And that's why they do whatever they want you to do. And some people who are even worse than this, they they read and they cannot even understand what's going on there. They cannot even quote. You hear words here and there. Shia, Sunni, Sufis, this and that. You hear words there. But in terms of studying it, as literally studying it, my advice to you, when you go home today, make a plan to study, because here you have 2 billion people on earth, which is the quarter of the world, around the quarter of the population in the world. That means the quarter of the population of the world, they believe in something. This something, and they mean it, the Quran, all of them.
Brainwashed into believing
Yeah,
it.
okay.
It doesn't mean
Suppose,
it's all
listen,
two
it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's
One
1.5
second.
billion
By
Christians
the way,
who've been brainwashed into Christianity,
Yeah.
who you think are
It's
wrong.
it's fine. No problem. My point is to you as follows. My point is to you. Now here, if I wanted to know if there is something truth there or there is something which is false, I will study, regardless. Even I don't like it. I did the research. I did PhD twice, by the way, and even during my PhDs, I studied nonsense. I went into things which doesn't make sense in certain things. If you go into some mathematical arguments, actually you say, what's this
But
nonsense?
Mohammed, you're not addressing my
No,
question.
no.
My point.
You're
not addressing my point.
Yeah.
We're talking about. Well, I'm making a point, which is it doesn't matter whether it's Sufi, Sunni, whatever. It doesn't matter. Every single human being, right, projects their own meaning onto words. That's how humanity works. We are all unique. We have a completely different experience. Yours and mine. Everybody's got a unique experience of their own thoughts, of their own relationships, and of their own fears, and of their own understanding.
You cannot judge.
Everybody.
But what's that? You cannot judge about something which you don't know. Correct?
Well, no, that's
Do I
not
know you?
correct. No,
Do I
that's
know
not
you?
correct.
Do I know you?
You can judge something.
One second.
Yes.
Do I know you?
Yes, sorry.
To some degree.
Okay. I don't know you. I don't know your name. You just told me you were
my name's
brought up.
Johnny.
Johnny. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. And I don't know, but I cannot judge you just because of that. You told me. I judge you according to what you taught me or what you said to me. You said to me you were brought up as Orthodox Jew. Yeah. You told me you still keep the Sabbath and other things.
Yes.
There are certain things that's what I know from you. Okay. But I cannot judge certain things about you without me knowing about the details about you. It's the same thing. You cannot even quote a verse from the Quran. You cannot even bring what's the ideas about the Quran. You quote something which is beautiful, which you said Muslims, they should have a humility, which is because of the teaching of the Quran. Muslims, they should be peace-loving people because of the Quran. Muslims, they should be as well respecting others, to be compassionate and to be loving and to even helping others and to be there to help everyone. This is what the Quran teaches us. Now, if you have a misunderstanding about the Quran, that's your problem.
No, it's not about me. No.
But you cannot judge the Quran before you understand it.
It's not about judging the Quran.
You already did.
No, it's not about judging.
You already did. Yeah.
First of all, I've read the Quran in English. Hang on, I've read the Quran in English.
But
Yeah, sorry. He's my brother, by the way.
He's your brother?
Yeah.
He was the one who fought for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just a question.
That means you're biased. By the way, yeah, carry on.
I mean, we're all biased. Are you biased?
Me? Depends. Carry on.
Clearly, a lot of issues around the world have involved Muslims, both Muslims against Muslims. So what happened there? Because they read the same Quran, they studied it. They studied it. I don't know whether I have no idea who is Shia, who is Sunni. I don't know because I'm not an expert in it. But I'm curious as to if they're all learning the Quran and they all have their sages within the Quran, how can that happen? If it's objective.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. The Jews as well, at certain point, they have issues amongst themselves. Correct?
Sure.
And they are reading the same text. Correct?
Yeah.
So what's the problem then?
I don't think Judaism. I don't think the Jewish books are also objective.
Yeah, that's my
They're
point.
not objective. There isn't objectivity.
My
It
point.
doesn't exist.
My point is.
It's a
You see here.
fallacy.
No. My point is. It exists in every single for every single text. You will find some people. It's up to the. It's up. Firstly, I will go. The first thing is lack of understanding. Yeah, lack of understanding the Quran. Now, the issue is, for example, if I want to address, for example, the Shias and the Sunnis. Yeah. Now, the source of information for us as Sunnis, because I'm Muslim Sunni. So my source of information is the Quran. The interpretation of the Quran, the way that it is, because the Quran as well, it has as well some strong meanings, and the interpretation of the Quran, God has sent our Prophet, peace be upon him, to interpret, to demonstrate the things in the Quran. And the one who copied this are his companions, and then after that from the companions, then the tabi'in, which is the followers of the Quran, all the way, and the scholars of Islam. So they have done explanation to the Quran. Now what happens here, when you cut this, and you say we will take directly from the information directly from the Quran, then everyone will interpret the way the Quran that he wishes. So that's why when God has sent the book, the Quran, has sent down as well, just like, for example, if you wanted to make a computer or something, you will send, for example, a catalog to teach the people what to do, or you send someone to demonstrate what to do.
Understand the teachers.
That is misunderstanding. Now here, the problem is misunderstanding. It is because of the problem with the people, not because of the text.
So who's right?
Which one? The Shias or the Sunnis? The Sunnis, of course, definitely. There is no doubt. Because, beyond that doubt.
Can I just say one?
And do you know why?
Shia would say.
Okay, I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Because here, if you cut the same people who transmitted the Quran, those are the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. They transmitted the Quran. They memorized it, and they transmitted it through generation after generation. So when you cut that link, it will be vague.
What
So
about
the point
ISIS?
is,
ISIS are Sunni, right?
Sorry, so can I
No,
just...
They claim. No, they're
ISIS
not.
are Sunni.
They're not.
They say they are.
Who cares?
I care. Look. The member of ISIS is reading your Quran.
Why we go far?
He's reading the same Quran. He's reading the same Hadith. It's got the same it's got the same access to the information, right? The ISIS guy thinks that they should go to Raqqa and set up a system where they can do their atrocities, right? Okay. They pray 5 times a day. You know what? The Likud is not a religious organization.
No, it's a religious party.
It's not religious.
It's a religious party. But they come.
How many times have you been to Israel?
None.
How many times have I been to Israel?
I don't know.
Like 150. He lives in Israel,
okay.
And you no idea what you're talking about. So don't talk about things you don't talk about.
But the same thing. It applies to you. By the way,
Netanyahu.
This applies to you.
Netanyahu is a non-religious guy.
He's
he is. He's atheist. I know.
He's a non-religious guy.
He's an
He
atheist.
also has, in my opinion, mental health issues.
No, he's an atheist.
Right?
He's an atheist, by the way.
He's an atheist, by the way.
And he has made some appalling decisions, immoral decisions.
So therefore, all atheists are terrorists.
No.
All atheists. It's
By the
okay.
way, one second, brother.
I'd rather.
That's
what he's
doing. That's what he's doing.
Listen, brother.
That's what you're doing.
Brother.
Please, not get involved in this conversation.
No,
right.
You can't tell him this.
I'm asking.
That's
You're
making a
speaker's corner.
categorical error.
No, you can't tell
that's
him.
okay, fair
You
enough.
can't dictate who's saying.
Mohammed,
We allowed your brother to talk.
I'm happy to talk about Netanyahu.
Yeah, no problem.
He's an
That's
atheist,
good.
and you're an atheist.
By the way, quiet. He's a reasonable guy.
Let me ask you this question.
I respect reasonable guys, by the
Let me
way.
ask you this question.
You're not pro Netanyahu.
I'm definitely not a Zionist. Very few people are pro-Zionist. But I am a Zionist, okay?
Okay, that's where we distinguish from each other.
But let me say this.
That's where we
right as we
draw the
speak
line.
here,
Yeah.
right, probably in the next 5 minutes, a Muslim child is going to be killed in Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Let's get to the philosophical question, right? What happens to that dead child, right? Is this part of God's plan, right? If life after death is paradise and kids get straight to paradise, why is everyone in such a state about it? Like, why do you even care, right? And what is happening there from your theological understanding in Gaza?
I mean, if you wanted to summarize, if you want to summarize all of this to the conflict of Gaza, you need to know something. Throughout the history, God always tested the believers. Yeah, God tested the believers who followed Moses, peace be upon him, who is our prophet, which we believe he's a prophet of, even though his follower was the children of Bani Israel, which is the children of Israel, and even though they were believers, they were tested by others. They were tested by pharaohs. They were tested in Egypt. Even they were tested by the Amalekites, whatever you name it. So they were tested. The test of the believer happened. That's a norm, and they were patient. Why did the God of the Torah, for example, allow what happened to the children of Israel in Egypt, what happened to them by Pharaoh? Why God? Yeah. So the point is exactly what happened to them is exactly what's happening to us. Of course, we'll be grieving. Of course, we'll feel sad. But we believe as well there's an afterlife. And that's a key thing. There is an afterlife. And we believe as well those ones who are wronged and oppressed and killed unlawfully, the criminals who killed them, including the Zionists who are participating in them, and as well, by the way, I believe as well Zionism is a political movement rather than, even though they try to use religion, by the way. It's exactly like ISIS, by the way. Exactly in the same manner. It's exactly in the same way. They would try to use religion to move their own politics. What do you find? Even Herzl was an atheist. That's something. He wasn't religious. He didn't care about even Judaism. He cares about his ethnicity. He cares about his politics, and he wanted to establish. So that's something which we know, which we are aware of.
Do you think you know everything about Zionism?
No. No. No, I don't think I know everything about Zionism. But I know about Herzl. He was an atheist. That's something which I know.
Okay,
you agree with this?
I believe that if you would sit down it would take 2 hours, maybe 3.
Okay.
You would sit down with people who know the history of Zionism and could show you and could teach you what happened, what didn't happen, where it comes from. It would totally turn your life upside down if you had to end life.
Okay.
Because what you've been told, I can almost guarantee, what you've been told about Zionists is not the truth.
All right.
No, it's probably got parts of truth.
Listen. Simple as that. Was Zionism a religious movement?
Okay, I'll answer the question. For religious people it was, and for non-religious people it wasn't.
No.
Wait, but let me finish. Let me explain to you what Zionism was. Let me explain to you what it was. There was a people called the Jews, right? And they were a combination of ethnic people and religious people. It was a combination of those two aspects that made them a people. And they were spread out all across the world.
That's true.
Right? At one point they were living in what is now Palestine, Israel. They were living in that point, and they had a kingdom there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Egypt, Israel, then the destruction of the temple, and they were dispersed across the world, right? Europe, and then across the world, America, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
When they were living in Europe and in Russia, and they found themselves unable to practice their faith without massive oppression wherever they were. Yes, sometimes it was good, sometimes it was better, sometimes it was worse, but they were pogroms and there was oppression and they had all sorts of disadvantages in society, and they couldn't even. What happened with Herzl was, Herzl was in an era where the Jews said, enough of this exclusion.
He was atheist.
Forget about atheism. Enough of exclusion.
No, he was atheist.
What we're going to do? Well, hang on a minute. You're obsessed with atheism. Muhammad, just hear me out. Don't interrupt me.
He didn't care about Judaism and the faith.
Hear me out. Right? These were human beings. They were educated. They were doctors and lawyers and trying to take part in society in Germany and France, right? And what happened was when they married non-Jewish people, they went to non-Jewish universities, they gave up all their religious looks and everything, and they were still anti-Semitism. And they were still, and there was a trial of a guy called Dreyfus. You may have heard about it in France. And he looked at that trial and he goes, you know what? The only way that people who are Jewish in any way, shape or form, religious or not, believers or not, the only way they're ever going to be safe is if they have a political situation in which they can live freely and defend themselves. Okay? And he looked at Uganda, and he looked at Alaska, and he looked at Palestine, and he discovered, and he looked at Palestine, and what was decided by him and his other fellow, they had designed this Congress, and what they decided was the only viable place, right, that would bring Jews together into a state had to be Palestine, right? It had to be that place because that was the historical, religious homeland that all Jews had been speaking about in their prayers for years. You know that, right? You do know that.
Yeah, I know this. And then as it's empty area, just go there and live there. No, you don't need to do nothing. It's there, it's empty land. Just go there and live there in harmony. They have millions of people living there. Kick them out, kill everyone, and then stay there.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
That's what's happening
today.
That's
what's happening today.
Either you're turning a blind eye.
I'm not turning a blind eye at all. Right?
Okay.
I'm the one who brought it up, not you.
Okay. That's my point.
I'm not turning a blind eye at all. I'm a humanist, and every single.
You're a humanist. How come if you're a humanist,
yes.
you say, how come you see people who are living there? It's simple as that. You see here, my point is the right of return.
Yes, I believe everyone who lived in Palestine and their children, their grandchildren, Jews from 2,000 years ago and Palestinians from 2,000 years ago or 100 years ago should have the right to return. Yes, I do.
Is this granted to the
Every
Palestinians?
single Palestinian should be. It's not, but it should be.
You see here,
and it's not.
I
have a friend. I'm friendly with Palestinians, right? From all over the world. I'm friendly with them. Yes, I have a friend called Izzeldin Abulaish. He's a friend of mine. He's a doctor whose kids were killed in Gaza, and his brother's kids were killed in the last couple of months in Gaza. 3 of them, right? And I met him in London. I'm not lying, by the way, whoever your friend is. I know.
Okay, so
all right.
We're not accusing you of lying.
Okay, he wrote a book called I Shall Not Hate. Okay? Yeah. He's a Palestinian from Gaza. Okay? And I'm friendly with several other Palestinians. Okay? Some of them are Palestinian Israelis with very citizenship. Okay? And I believe that there should be a single place in Palestine, Israel, where people should have the right to return. All of them. And there's a reason why only Jewish people have the right to return to both Israel and the occupied territories, and where Palestinians who lost their homes in 1948 and their children and grandchildren are not. There's a reason for it. And there's one reason only.
Which is?
And it's a reason which, I'm sorry to say this to you, Mohammed, but it's a reason which perks up my ears of interest when I think about Islam as a force in the world. Right? When I look at Nigeria, when I look at Yemen, when I look at Iran, when I look at Lebanon, when I look at so many places in the world, the Balkans, right? When I look at Chechnya, I look at Pakistan, Afghanistan. It's one word. I'll tell you what the word is. It's a horrible word, right? It's a word that plagues humanity, right? And that word is violence. Violence. Okay?
All Muslims are violent.
Sorry? No, I didn't say all Muslims are violent.
Why
when I pick up my Quran, which I don't remember every verse
which you don't know.
When I pick up my Quran...
Which you don't know.
Hang on a minute. When I pick up my Quran and I just read it, and I turn pages, I read it, yes? What I pick up is not a religion of peace, I'm sorry to say. Right?
By the way,
it's not.
By the way, for you to know, Quran, there is a war situation as well, and that's something which is happening. This is the nature of the human being. There could be a war, there could be certain things, and people they have a right. One second, people they have a right. No.
The Taliban.
It doesn't matter.
Where is it going to end?
No.
There's so much messed up Islam in the world.
Have you served an IDF? No. Have you served an IDF? No.
I would serve in it tomorrow.
You'll serve in it?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
You are pro-IDF?
Yes, I'm a Zionist, duh.
You see here, so you are okay to kill other people. You're okay to go and bomb an airplane. You're okay to go on an airplane, you bomb everyone there. You don't care about the people what's happening.
A mosque was blown up outside of Palestine by a Jew. When?
Just now Gaza.
When last time Muslims
outside of Palestine.
Gaza
is in Palestine. Yeah. When was the last time? I went to my wife's Turkish, right? I went to Istanbul 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. In order to get into the synagogue, right, I had to send my passport and my son's passport ahead of time, okay, to the synagogue, and then I had to show up and they checked my body for weapons and bombs, and then I had to go to a safe room where they closed the first door, and then they went through that safe before they go to the second door to get into a synagogue, right? I went into a mosque in Istanbul. Yes, I went into a church in Istanbul, for Christmas, okay? And you know what just happened? I just walked in, Why?
Am I Turkish?
Why?
Am I Turkish?
It's not why you're Turkish.
Am I
It's all
Turkish?
over the world.
Am I Turkish?
No, you're Muslim.
Am I Turkish? Turkey is a secular state. Turkey is a secular state. You go and ask them, why is this?
No,
by the way,
you're
since,
not.
since your wife is Turkish, you should as well. You could gain as well Turkish passport. You could gain Turkish citizenship. By the way, and as well apply and as well say why we Jew there. Why we Jew?
No,
we don't
you're
have
missing
this,
my
that,
point.
no.
You said
no.
that
You can't come
my
here.
violent IDF.
No. By the way,
you
and by the way,
I would
one
join the
second.
IDF.
1 second. Yes, of course.
Yes,
because here.
because I believe in defending Zionism.
Yeah, no,
right?
not about
you. I'm
IDF,
talking about Islamic
IDF.
violence all across the world. And
IDF.
my synagogue here in London has to have all the way time security. Yes, with armed guards. Why? Because a Muslim might attack my synagogue. Right? It's not in the Middle East.
Good.
It's in London.
Not just
and
that.
in Turkey.
Not just
and
that.
in New York.
Not just
everywhere.
that. Have you had what we had as well
Islamic
as Muslims?
terrorism is a plague
by the way,
on our globe.
By the way, and as well the same thing IDF.
There's no
IDF,
Jewish terrorism except in Israel.
IDF,
That's terrorism
I
at all.
believe IDF is an terrorist organization.
I don't think it is.
Which they terrorize, kill purposely killing people. Regardless, whatever they are, and here they kill journalists, and not just that. The eye testimony members of IDF, they came out crying. I had to kill a child. I had to kill a child in front of his mom. I had to do this. I was commanded to say this.
That's not true.
What?
That's a lie.
No, they say no.
They
come.
Hello, camera.
No.
He's telling something which he
No.
heard, which is not. I don't think you're a liar. I think he heard someone
No,
lying.
it's something.
And that is
Go,
a lie. Okay, that is false.
Check IDF
I'll check
testimony.
it, don't worry. I've been breaking the silence clause.
Look at the IDF. Look at the IDF testimony. IDF testimony of the soldiers, what they have done.
I've seen
all
the
of these things.
70% buildings. 70%.
Yeah. Now here, what they have done, they said, oh, we have the right to defend ourselves. Okay, to defend yourself, what you have done, you killed 30,000 people on earth.
70% of
30,000 innocent people.
They're not innocent people. What a load of rubbish.
Babies, they're not innocent
Excuse me.
people. Babies are
they
not.
did not kill 30,000 babies. They killed 30,000 people.
12,000 are children. 12,000 amongst them are children.
Excuse me. Thousands of terrorists they killed.
No, that's nonsense.
Thousands
That's
of
nonsense.
terrorists.
That's nonsense. We have, listen, I'm talking about an official.
Israeli
Listen.
soldiers have you personally spoken to? How many?
You are.
How many?
Are you
You
a
are.
vegan?
You are.
Are you vegan, sir?
You will be.
Mohammed, are you
How
vegan?
many
No.
Israeli?
So
He's
you,
also our brother.
So you're worried about the Palestinians when you support like factory farming?
Yeah.
I thought you said animals have souls.
Yeah, they have souls. We
you
can
don't mind
eat them.
killing them.
How many Israeli soldiers have you personally spoken to?
I met one guy here. One guy
guy.
came here. One guy came here. He served in the IDF. He said he was proud even killing Palestinians. He said he came here to the park. He was proud killing Palestinians. He said we are proud to do it. So we hear these things.
Hang on a second. I'm not avoiding the subject. I'm very willing and happy to defend the IDF. It's not a problem. I'll defend it. Wait, in Gaza. Wait.
They already done enough.
Hang on.
They already done enough atrocity in the world.
Wait,
else?
we can talk
Even
about
the
them
other
and
guy
the
was saying,
atrocities.
why don't we just
Hang on.
bomb whole Gaza
Mohammed,
and boom,
Mohammed,
finish
listen to me. I'll come back to that. But I want to address my point,
Yeah.
right? Which is, whatever you think of the IDF, which obviously you think is a terrible, evil, terrorist organization, which is your view, which I disagree with. But let's leave that, okay? Right? That's the danger to humanity, to human beings all over the world, from Jews, violence from Jews, is only in Palestine, right? No Jews in anywhere else in the world are attacking Muslims
What about
or
Lebanon?
Germans.
What about Lebanon?
Okay, Palestine, Lebanon.
You
Whatever.
see,
In the fight
come on.
over Palestine.
What about? You see here, this is the problem. The problem
give me a
is,
break.
come on, give me a break.
Mohammed, you're
avoiding the question.
Yes,
on
you
purpose.
really are. You are deliberately avoiding the question.
Deliberately avoiding the question. We're talking about in the small area around Israel.
In the Middle
Let's
East,
leave that
okay,
for
you're happy now.
There is a massive Muslim problem everywhere, almost everywhere.
And you're denying it
against
to a
Muslims.
camera.
Yeah, okay, good.
There
Simple
is
as
a
that.
huge
Simple as
problem
that.
with Islamic violence.
We-
face it and
Do
talk
we know
about it
all over the world?
here and now.
All over the
We-
world?
All over the world.
Listen.
Massive problem.
Yeah,
If all Muslims,
And don't
if
deny it,
all
Mohammed.
Muslims-
I'm sorry.
If all Muslims,
Talk to me
again,
about it. Come on, I'm
if,
begging
if
you.
all Muslims they were violent.
No, I did
if all
not say
Muslims-
that.
So-
I didn't say all Muslims are
Why
violent.
don't point-
I
why-
said,
why do you shout?
No, okay.
Why do you shout?
Because I'm
You
passionate.
respect yourself.
I'm passionate.
yeah?
Mohammed, listen to me. Read my lips. Read them. There are many beautiful, peaceful, delicious Muslim people all over the world.
Majority, which are the
okay,
majority?
gorgeous. Okay.
Which are the majority?
Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying all Muslims are anything.
You already labeled them.
Okay.
Already.
No, I didn't label them.
So you're
I
correct.
said there's a problem with Islamic terrorism. That's not even a person.
The same
That's
thing.
just a concept.
The same
Right.
thing. I met Jews here, and I have friends as well who
Yes.
came here who are anti-Israel, who are anti-Zionism, who are here,
Mohammed,
who
we're going
came
to have
here.
to end this conversation if you
Peace-loving-
can't
peace-loving-
address the point
by the
I'm
way,
making.
I'm talking-
Islamic
No.
terrorism.
And the same thing.
No, it's not the same
goes
thing.
Vice versa.
No, it's
You
not
see,
the same thing.
We have
the only religion
we
in
have
the
a saying.
world that has its adherents, not all of them, a small portion of them, going around the
Yes,
world,
good.
committing acts of terrorism and saying Allahu Akbar, are Muslims.
Okay.
Stop denying it and stop giving me this nonsense about other stuff. Face
let's
the
say-
question
let's
and
say-
answer
let's-
the question,
why-
Mohammed, or I'm walking away.
It's okay. So we all that's up to you. I don't.
Other people
My
following
point
you.
is. My
Here's-
point is.
here's the truth.
By the
Here's the truth.
brother.
More people are converted to Christianity
By the way,
by
brother.
the sword than they were converted
You're right,
to
but not recently. Not recently.
Brother, please.
That's the point.
By the way, please.
Was
I'm
that a
talking
good
here.
thing or not?
We're talking here. By the way.
Was that a good thing
By
or
the way.
not?
By the way. I'm saying here. The last thing I wanted to say. By the way, I wanted to say to you again,
Yeah.
and I'm repeating this.
Yeah.
You see here, we don't have in our scripture, for example, go kill every single man, woman, even infant, even donkeys. We don't have in our scripture like this.
No, you do.
We don't have
Yeah,
this.
you do.
No.
In the hadith, you have
no,
no kill
no.
every Jew, even if they're behind a rock.
No.
That's in your hadith.
No.
Yes, it is.
No,
I've read it.
No, that's not true.
Oh, it's not true.
Now
That's a
here,
lie?
no, that's not true. That's not the way that you
There's no hadith like that.
They say now
The
here.
Jew's going to be hiding behind the tree and the rock, and you're going to find them and kill every Jew.
Do you know-
That's not in hadith.
That-
Yes, it is.
Now, the point is
we look it up?
that hadith, firstly talking about when the Jews they will be coming, especially as you are not the ones who are peaceful people,
Right.
who came, who terrorized us, who came to kill Muslims and Christians, and even Arab Jews who were living in Palestine for centuries. They're being killed and targeted because they are Arabs. They're being given injections to the Jews who are from Eritrea, who are from those what we call it Ethiopian, they were given the women given injection because they don't want black Jews. They want just only white ones. So these are the things which we've
filthy, disgusting lie.
Yeah, okay. So you
It's a filthy,
check the news.
disgusting
Check the news
lie.
now here, and then
You know,
after that.
I'm
So the
just-
point is,
again, spreading filthy,
No.
disgusting lies.
Yeah.
There's nothing about
yeah.
at all.
You check it.
Shame
listen,
on you.
listen. Just check it.
I'm not
Why
gonna
we
check it,
Go
but it's
check
a
it.
lie.
This is the news. Who
The
put?
news.
Who?
Yeah.
By the way,
Al Jazeera
who is? No,
News.
not Al Jazeera. By the way, this is even Israel news. By the way, for you to know,
yeah,
Israeli news.
sure.
Yeah, women
Yeah.
are complaining.
Yeah, women
Eritrea-
complain because they're
Ethiopian.
forcibly
Yes,
having
given
babies.
injections.
What a filthy,
so,
disgusting
so
lie.
the point is here. What I'm saying here. So these are the things. So when they come, our Prophet said to us, "They're gonna be a time," and that's true. He said, "They're gonna be a time. The Jews they will be on the west side of the river, and you're gonna be on the east side." So our Prophet, he told us 1400 years ago, at the time where the Jews, they were minority even in the Arab Peninsula, they were even scattered around the world, they were not even there. They said they're going to be a time, they're going to be a power. That shows this is the one of the prophecy. How we know that he's a prophet of Allah? How we know? Is through this hadith. When he said, he predicted that
Is this power,
1400
is this power called
Yeah.
Hamas, maybe?
No, he said about the Jews, by the way.
Oh.
He said, he said the Jews, they're gonna be on the west side of the river, and you're gonna be in the east side. He said to us this, which means they're gonna be coming to you. They want to attack you. They will take your land. They will do all of these things. And then our Prophet said to us, then at that time, you're gonna be fighting them back. That's part of the things
And
which
during
he
that
was saying.
time, you should kill every
No,
baby Jew.
he didn't say babies. He didn't say babies.
Every Jew includes every baby
No, he
Jew.
didn't say those are the offensive fighters. those are the ones who to be fought.
That's what the Prophet. Clear, is it?
No, clear in the hadith. He said there will be fighters who are be behind rocks and trees, and the Prophet peace be upon him. No, didn't say. No, didn't say.
Every Yehudi.
Check the hadith. Check the hadith. It didn't say this.
Right.
So the point is, the Prophet peace be upon him, he said to us, he said 1400 years ago this is happening.
Check it out.
And we are seeing it now. We are now seeing it.
Mohammed,
So the point is,
do you care about Palestinian children being killed?
of course I care about
Okay.
them.
Would you recommend then? I know no one's listening to us.
And I care, by the way, and I care about even the Jews. And I care about as well. And I care about the children, the Jews' children as well. I care about every child.
Good.
Every child life matters.
Good.
But
Good.
you don't care about them. You are supporter of IDF.
Okay, let me tell you something. Let me ask you something.
You don't care about
Let me ask
them.
you something. If you had a magic wand, if you had the lovely Mr. Hania in Qatar Hotel, if you had his phone number, and you could call him and say, I've been speaking to this weird guy in Speaker's Corner in London, Hyde Park, and he said, if you give up all the hostages, send them all the hostages who are still alive home, and you guys surrender and go to Algeria somewhere, right? It will save thousands more dead Palestinian children, right? Would you make the call?
You say it.
Would you ask Mr. Hania to surrender?
By the way,
I'm saying on camera, do you call for the surrender of Hamas to save Palestinian babies?
Okay.
Because I do.
The answer is as follows. Will you call IDF? Will you call IDF to put down their weapon? And not to fight no one.
Yes, absolutely.
To put down their weapon.
Would.
Not to fight
Do you know
no
what
one.
I did? Shall I tell you what I did? Shall I tell you what I did?
No, not do it.
Okay, listen to me
You
carefully.
support of IDF.
Listen to me carefully.
You can't.
No, I want you to listen to me. I want this to be on camera so you know
Okay.
something. All right? Okay?
And by the way, I'm not pro-Hamas, for you to know. For you to know, I'm not pro-Hamas.
No, I don't care if you're not pro-Hamas.
And I don't care. I don't
Why isn't
care about
everyone
you.
here in Speaker's Corner with flags saying Hamas surrender, save the babies? Because that's the only way they're going to be saved. Israel will stop the bombing instantly when those hostages are released and Hamas surrender. And if you care about
I care about
you'll call for Hamas to surrender.
Go.
Right?
Now here, during the Nakba time, which is there were no Hamas, there were no one, and what they have done?
No.
What your IDF saviors, what they have done? They killed thousands of people, women, children, babies, everyone, killed everyone. There were no Hamas at that time. There were no resistance. They just killed everyone. Killing every single person.
Was
Look
resistance.
at this. Come on. Why they have to resist?
Why do they have to resist?
Why
Because
they
they didn't want a Jewish state in Palestine.
So you are imposing people. You are imposing yourself to them, and you are fighting them to take their land, and you want them just to be quiet.
Let me ask you something. Do you know what Judenrein means? Do you know what Judenrein means? It's a German word. You know what it means?
No.
It means free of any Jews. So
No, I don't know.
wanted Germany to be free of any Jews.
No. Actually,
Yes.
Palestine had
How
Jews.
many
Palestine
Palestinians-
had Jews.
Mohammed.
Jews used to do the pilgrimage every year to Palestine.
Mohammed,
They
let
used
me
to
finish
visit
my
the
point.
holy
I
places.
hear you.
No one has stopped them throughout the time. So don't lie about the
No, I'm not
Muslims.
lying about anything. Listen to me. I haven't made my
Jews,
point. Let me make
Jews,
Mohammed.
they lived amongst Muslims. They lived in Andalusia, in Spain. They lived with them in harmony.
Mohammed,
They were
stop talking for a
they were
second and
prime
listen.
minister to the
Listen,
leaders.
Mohammed,
How
listen.
much more than this?
Muhammad, listen to me, right? There was a country which the Romans called Palestine, right? Okay. And it was changed to when the Arab armies invaded and took over. Yeah, they renamed it Palestine because there's no p in Arabic, right? Okay, so it was colonized by the Arabians.
Actually, that's not true.
It was
Because
colonized by the Arabians.
actually, even the Old Testament, you find Palestinian, even Palestinians, those are the ones who were indigenous.
The Arab invasion, not the Ottomans.
No, I'm not even not
not
Ottomans.
Arabs.
Even the Old Testament, talk about Palestinians.
Yeah.
The one who the Jews fought, Palestinian.
They
with
were
F.
called Pelishtim. Pelishtim with a P.
And
That's in Hebrew. But anyway,
by
it's
the way,
irrelevant. It's
I don't care about the Hebrew. I'm talking about the English one. They say F.
Doesn't matter.
They have F,
Doesn't
Palestine.
matter. There was a place in 1948 called Palestine, right? It
Okay.
was the West Bank, and it was what is now today Israel. Okay.
Okay.
After the 1948 war, right? In the end, right? Israel. What was Israel? Had a very large, not large, a sizable Arab Muslim population who are now Israeli citizens, their children, and them their children.
No,
Yes?
that's not true.
Yes.
That's not true. We have
Okay, 7
million Palestinians. They're outside the land.
There are 9.2 million Israelis, of which roughly just under 2 million are Arab
We
Muslims or
Jordanian,
Christians?
we have 70% of
Not Georgian,
Jordanian origin. 70% of Jordanian are Palestinian origins.
You're
Where
not
they
listening,
come,
Mohammed.
I'm from Jordan.
Okay,
Don't lie to me
let me ask you a
about my
question.
population.
How many
Don't lie to me
are
about
there
my neighbor.
Israeli citizens who are-
We have
are there
we have
Israeli
6
citizens who are
million
Arabic
Palestinian.
speaking?
6 million Palestinian in Jordan
I
alone.
agree with you. Stop talking.
So that's
I agree
it.
with you. Are there Palestinian Israelis? Are there Israelis who are not Jewish?
Yes,
but
there
have
are.
Israeli citizens.
Yes, there are.
Right. Are they Muslim? Some of them.
Yes, some
Most
of them, yes.
Yes. So there
Not
are
most of
Muslim.
them, some of them, yeah.
There are Muslim people, yes, who have Israeli citizens.
Minority,
but
small.
No, it's
Small,
not small.
many?
How many? How many?
Can you tell me?
Yeah, I can. But I want
What
you
is
to
it?
tell
I don't
me
know.
first.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting.
I don't
Have
know.
a guess.
So you're just talking out of
Have a
ignorance.
guess.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
In
Have a guess. 1
1940.
second. Have
I
a
don't
guess.
know.
Have a guess.
I don't know.
Have a guess.
I don't need.
There are 9 million Israelis in total. How many of them do you think are Muslim
I don't know.
Palestinians?
I seriously
Have
don't
a
know.
guess. Just have a guess.
I seriously don't know.
Play.
Yeah, Daddy, he doesn't
100,000, 500,000, 20.
Maybe 500,000, maybe.
No, it's 1.9 million.
1.9 million.
Yeah.
And you have around,
Out of 9 million.
we have around 6 million
no,
in
you're
Jordan.
not- no.
We have around 3 million in
But you're
Lebanon.
not
and Syria.
listening to my
we have
point.
around all of them.
How many
so
Jews?
around
how
15
many
million
Jews-
outside, and
How
only
many Jews
you
were
left.
living in the West Bank?
That's good. You left only 1 million
Before
inside. there.
1948, how many Jews were living in the West Bank? Which
How-
was Palestine.
When?
In 1947, 46, 44.
I don't know.
I don't know either. There were
I don't
about a few thousand.
I don't know, I
Tens
don't
of
care.
thousands.
So-
yes. Do you know what happened to them after 1948?
No.
Do you know what happened to them?
No.
Would you like to know?
Yeah, tell me.
Yes, they were ethnically cleansed.
That's
They
not
were-
true.
Yes, it is true.
Do you know
They were
why?
thrown out by Jordan, and there were Jews living in Gaza who were thrown out by Egypt.
That's not
By
true.
the
Do you know why?
Egyptians. Okay, well,
People
it
who
is
came
true. No, it's not true.
again.
It is true. No, it's true. Look up your
A
history.
Polish
It's
guy.
100% true.
Sorry, are you Ashkenazi?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're from England, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your right to go there?
To
You
where?
have no right to
To
go
Israel?
there.
I have every
Yeah.
right to go there. What
Yeah.
are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Do you have more of the right than a Palestinian does? To that,
I have the
to that
same
land?
right as the
Why,
Palestinians.
Why do you have the same
Why do you
right?
have the
You
same
don't-
right? Well, you never lived there. Your father didn't live there. Your grandfather
Because-
didn't live there.
because-
That's it. Why?
okay,
What is your right?
because-
Who gave you that right?
I can
a
tell
Bible,
you.
a Bible
You're
which
not
you don't
listening to
believe
me.
in.
No.
A book which you don't believe in.
Hang on
A
a
God
second.
which you don't believe
Hang
in.
on,
And yet you don't believe about that God.
Technically,
Yeah.
technically, a Jew is someone who believes in the covenant that God gave them.
But
Considering-
he
one
doesn't
second,
believe.
1 second.
Yeah.
Considering you don't believe in God,
That's-
you're not
you
a
have
Jew.
no right.
You're not a Jew.
No, that's
you're
not
not a
true.
Jew.
You can't tell me what
A
I
Jew,
am.
a Jew is a person that.
No, that's-
By the way, he's not
Yes,
Muslim, by the way. He's
Hold
not a
on, wait,
Muslim.
wait.
You literally just made up a
1 second.
definition of Jew.
No, a Jew is someone that believes in the covenant that God gave them, that's set apart, that's
Okay.
set apart from people.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me
If
ask
you
you
don't
something.
believe in
let
that,
me
so
ask
how
you
can you be
something.
a Jew?
No, let me ask
You
you
see
something.
here,
Let me
that's
ask
the
you
problem
something.
here.
No, no, no. Let me
He
ask you
said,
something.
this is
I
our
have a son.
God-given right. This is the
My
idea of
wife and I have a
Herzl.
son. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Name's Leo.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. When a boy is 8 days old, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing called a brit, right, which is a covenant. Brit is the Hebrew for covenant.
Okay, yeah.
It's circumcision, but it's,
Yeah.
that's the operation. But the actual meaning behind it is we bring our son into the covenant of God, right?
Yeah.
And we do it in front of 10 men, and we have a feast, and it's a whole ceremony.
Okay.
Yes? And we say blessings. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Yeah. Did I have my son circumcised aged 8 days old? Did he have a bris? Did I invite people to a bris? What do you think?
I don't know. We don't know.
I can tell you. The answer is yes, right? I am a member of the covenant. I'm reluctant.
But you're
I
not,
struggle.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't
believe in
matter.
it, though.
It doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
The same thing.
Excuse me.
The same as Herzl. Herzl.
You know,
Herzl,
belief is
that-
not important in Judaism.
Herzl.
Actually, no, it's not. Look, are you Jewish?
No.
Huh? No. Are you Jewish? Were you brought up Jewish? Do you know about Orthodox Judaism? Do you know
Do you know
anything
what
about Judaism?
a true Jew is?
No, you don't know what it is.
Do you know what
I know what a
Jew
true
is?
Jew is, but you have no
A
idea.
true Jew,
Yeah. Yeah.
believes in the actual.
No.
1 second, hold on 1 second. A true Jew.
No, believe.
Wait
When
a
you say
minute,
believes,
wait
I
a
stop
minute.
you.
Look.
Wait a minute.
Jews don't have to believe
wait a second,
anything.
Wait a second. A true Jew is someone that in their heart they see that suffering within themselves with God, and they recognise the suffering in their
With
world.
all due respect to you,
Do you know?
have
Do you
no
know? Do you know?
idea
Do you know
what
what the
a Jew is.
implementation?
It's
By the way,
someone in here, not outside.
How do you know
By the
that?
way,
What,
by the
you
way,
a PhD
one
in
second.
how
One
a
second.
Jew
One
is?
second.
A
What
Jew-
is? By the way, how you say you have a right to go there?
Okay,
Based on,
very easy. Very, very
based on what?
I am part of a people, yes, an ancient people called the Israelites.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
who've kept a covenant with their fellow religionists and with their God.
Fine, yeah, okay,
right?
after that.
We've kept our laws, we've kept our traditions.
Which is not you. You
right?
didn't keep the laws, but
Okay,
carry on.
I
Yeah,
do
cool.
keep the laws.
But you
Okay,
don't
carry
believe
on.
in God, so
Carry
how
on,
do you
carry
keep
on.
laws?
The first law. What's the first law?
What's the first law?
What's the first law?
There isn't a first law. The first law.
What's the first commandment?
The Ten Commandments aren't the first law.
What's the first commandment?
The first one is, I am the Lord your God. That's the first
But you don't
commandment,
believe in that.
Which is
So
not.
there you go.
That's it. We're done. We're done.
No.
That
No,
destroys
worship
all
none
of the
but me.
commandments.
I
because you
don't worship
believe in
any
the
other
first
gods.
commandment.
By the way,
I don't worship any gods.
no, that's the problem. That's why you don't believe in that one.
Excuse me.
You don't believe in the first covenant. You don't believe in the first thing.
You don't
You
know
failed
about
the first step.
No.
You didn't even
first
put your
word
step
you
in
were-
Judaism. But let me tell you something. You know, I will tell you something.
Are you here to
By
shout
the-
at people to learn?
By the way, he's not a Muslim. By the way,
I don't care what he is.
By the way,
He's telling me what I am. And
By
you
the
know
way,
what he's talking about.
you know the
can you
Vikings.
be-
But listen, brother. The Vikings came to this country some time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They came here. They stayed here. They did all their business, whatever they wanted to do, and then after that, they went back to Germany. Yeah. To Germany and this Germanian, for example, and even Denmark and
yeah.
other Scandinavia. That means every single Scandinavian and every single German, they have right to come here. Because their ancestors, they came here, they breed here as well with some people,
I was
with
gonna say
other
that,
people.
actually.
They have to come here.
I was gonna say-
They have historic right.
I think they
They have historical
I
right.
do.
Look at this nonsense.
Or maybe the
Come on.
Romans.
The Romans,
who
the
conquered
Romans,
world.
they have more
The
right.
Romans who conquered
They have
the
more
world.
right
They
to come here.
Yeah.
You see here,
I think my wife-
Venus,
my wife
what's
has
they gonna do
Italian citizenship.
when they come?
She
Do you
has
think?
no,
do you know who-
Do you think when they come, all of them, they will come in one go? Do you think the British will leave them? They'll say, okay, yeah,
don't
you
know
know,
what the
just
British
come.
will do. Do
you know who-
What they gonna
it's
do?
irrelevant.
What they gonna
No,
do?
do you know who
They will
really-
resist. They will say, no, you can't come to
you know
our
who
country.
really- do you know-
It's not- They will say like these gangsters who come to us. This is our bloody country. They will come to us to do this. They will do the same thing to them.
Mohammed, you ask me a question
and then they will
literally-
resist,
Do you know
which
who
is the
really-
natural.
It's like,
Which is
why
the
you don't
natural.
talk to a tree
By
and
the
to
way,
yourself? You
by the
ask
way,
me a question,
which is
let
the
me
natural, which is
answer
the natural
your question.
reaction, a resistance towards those invaders. So the same thing when the Palestinians, they were resisting against the invaders.
who really has
That's
the right
exactly
to
what
know?
Would
happened
you
to
like
them.
me to
They said,
answer your
yes,
question?
of course there is
Would you
resistance.
Would you
That's why
like-
we
would you
wiped
like-
them. We wiped city. We wiped even cities. That's why they had to run to all over the
Would
over
you
the
like
world.
me to answer your question, or do you want to answer the question you asked me yourself?
What
You asked me a question.
You could add.
What is my right to go and live in Israel tomorrow, which I have the legal right to do
Yeah, I know.
in Palestine?
I know.
What's my right to do that?
Yeah, I know,
Which
I know.
I'll do, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
fine.
Okay, this is my right. I have at least two rights to go there. At least two.
Yeah, okay.
Right? The first one is a historical right, which is that I belong to a people, yes, who lived in that land,
Okay.
right, who were given that land by what they thought was their God, right?
Which you don't
Hashem,
believe in.
right? Which I have problems believing in.
And then
right?
therefore it
okay.
shouldn't matter.
No,
Really,
hang on a
should it?
second. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Which, despite my problems in believing it, I'm still loyal to my faith and to my people, right? Despite
Nonsense.
my theological
That's
problems.
nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
But you don't believe in your people.
That's nonsense.
Because
I
them
don't
people.
believe
That's
in
nonsense.
your
You don't,
people.
no, you don't believe in that.
Talking about.
One second.
I married
you
a
don't
Jew.
Believe,
I taught my
you
kids to
don't
be
believe
Jews.
in that stuff because that whole thing about the Jews is the idea that they were faithful to God.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I am
You don't
faithful to
believe
God.
in
And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something else.
Yeah, tell me,
We
what's that?
started this conversation, or the beginning of the conversation, there was another chap who was like insulting me, and I said, a good
No, he
Muslim,
wasn't insulting you.
whatever. I thought it was insulting what he said.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter. And I said, a good Muslim has humility, etc., right? Okay.
Yeah,
I believe that whatever God may or may not be, right, and whatever the laws may or may not be about keeping kosher or halal or whatever, fasting on this day or that day, I believe that actually to be divine, on this earth, is not about all these little laws you keep or don't keep, right? I think to be divine, people I see in the
But it's
street
okay to kill
who are
others.
divine, beautiful, divine human beings, are the ones with open hearts, with kindness, with honesty, with decency,
I agree with
yes,
that.
who make the world a better place.
I agree with this.
That's what I believe.
I agree with
And
this.
that's what, if you're that person,
I agree with this.
person, if you call yourself
I agree
Muslim,
with this.
I called you, we're all good, decent humans.
But you are a supporter of IDF. No, you can't be like this.
Well,
You
I
are.
haven't- I
You have
haven't
two
given you the
face.
se- I
You have two face.
haven't-
That's
no, I haven't-
hypocrisy.
I haven't given you the second reason why I have the
You
right
see
to
here,
live
that's
in
a problem.
Israel. I haven't
When you
given
are a supporter of Zionism, a supporter of
No,
IDF,
I
you
haven't
know
given-
you can't play these two games. You know
I
that
haven't.
you just
I
you can't
believe Israel.
these two,
I
the two
I
gods.
believe Israel has had some really terrible leadership and has had some terrible policies. But actually, at the heart of Zionism and at the heart of the Israeli people, who I have lived and I've worked and my family's there and I know very well. I speak fluent Hebrew.
Although initially you said you
believe-
didn't live in Israel.
No,
or-
my brother lives there. I lived there in the 90s. And
Okay.
I've visited many
Do you know
times.
who's- do you know who's the right to
I'm
that land?
extremely
Yeah,
familiar.
do you know who
I'm
has the right to
familiar
that
with
land?
its people and with the hearts of those people and their beliefs and their lives and their values. And I believe overall there are lots of really crappy people at the edges who have terrible beliefs and terrible actions. But the heart of that people is a beautiful nation, and I love them. And that's why I'm a Zionist. I love Israel. Now listen. By the way, my right to live in Israel.
I will tell you something. I don't generalize. I will not make Zionism to represent. Zionism is the worst thing to represent Judaism. Judaism as people. I dealt with people who are Jews, and so many of them they are nice people. They're peace-loving, yes, and as well. And actually, when what happened to them, to the Jews in Europe, they run where? They run to Algeria and Tunisia and to these areas. They lived amongst Muslims. They were safe.
They were in Algeria and Tunisia for years before.
Yeah, even I'm not talking about.
America,
we are not talking. We are not talking about just only in the Second World War.
Like
we are talking about when they were persecuted, when they were chased, when they were killed. They used to come. Yeah, of course. So the point is, that's how it is. And the people, they welcome them in their lands, they welcome them in their homes, they respect them, and that's how it is. And they flourished actually, even in Andalusia.
There's a very good book. You want PhD times 2? I've got a book for you to read. Okay, it's called Jews in Muslim Lands. It's by a very famous historian. Okay,
what's his name?
Martin. So bad.
Is he a Jew?
It's irrelevant. Just read.
No, it's relevant.
Yes, he's Jew. It doesn't
that's okay. That's good. I respect, because if he said this as a Jew person to admire living in a Muslim land and all of this.
He says it wasn't so great.
Okay, that shows the bias
in him. I want to tell you why I have a right to live
because
in Israel.
we have written books written by Arab Jews, or in Arabic. They are not written in Arabic language. They admire the being amongst Muslims and how they were saved. They wrote this. So we have these counter things. My point is, people, when they came from Europe, you don't have any right as a European guy just to go there and because your great ancestor 2,000, 3,000 years ago, they lived there. That's why you have a right to go there. And even though, let alone you are Ashkenazi, you are Ashkenazi, which is, we don't know even if you are even in terms of origin, if you are Semite or not. That's something. That's another.
That's racist nonsense.
By the way,
you can convert to Judaism from any race you
so
want.
if I became Jew, I have right to go to Israel today. Look at this nonsense.
See, I met this guy.
Look at this nonsense.
I met the guy and he's like,
here?
how come I come from Ashkelon? He was like 75, yeah, and I'm Palestinian and I can't go, but you can go tomorrow and live in Ashkelon. Why is that? Because you're Jewish. And I said, why don't you just convert and then you can go? Because any Jew is welcome in Israel.
By the way, that's the problem. You see here, look at this. But you were playing a game of ethnicity just a minute ago, and now you're playing about the religion. You see here, did you notice?
What's your definition of a Jew?
It's two possibilities. It's like what's the definition of a woman, you know? It's the same thing. It's not one thing. Yeah?
Go on.
The definition of a Jew, yes, from a Jewish legal point of view, okay, is either someone who was born to a legally Jewish mother, right? Who's also considered to be legally Jewish, halakhic, it's called halakhic Jewish. Or anybody who's not that, right? Who converts and becomes Jewish according to the legal system of Judaism.
But you don't have. But you are neither of them.
No.
Ashkenazi, Ashkenazi, their ancestors.
I'm not asking you who is qualified to be a Jew. I'm asking you what is your definition of a Jew.
My definition of Jew is a person who's either from a Jewish mother according to Jewish law, or is converted into Judaism from Jewish law.
You are neither of them. You are neither of them.
So,
by the way, you are neither of them. As Ashkenazi, you're not necessarily.
So
you're not Semite.
Mohammed here in Hyde Park, right, has met me for the first time about 2 hours ago, and he's already done my whole family tree, and he knows that my mother's mother was either not descended from Moses
from mother,
or didn't convert. You know that, and you're telling me. How the hell do you know that?
You know. Listen, the two things.
Ridiculous.
Firstly, you didn't convert to Judaism. You actually left Judaism as a faith.
I've not left Judaism as a faith.
No, you left it. If someone doesn't fulfill the first commandment, it's not a Jew.
No, it's not true. Let me tell you something. You don't have to keep the commandments to be Jewish. You don't even have to know that you're Jewish.
You are trying to define it, by the way.
If my mother's Jewish, therefore I'm Jewish. I can eat pork on Yom Kippur. I can commit murder. I can do anything. There's nothing to take away Judaism from me. I can't become
that's not true.
It is
That's not true.
It is true.
If you're a true Jew, accepts the divine love of God.
I don't need to accept it.
Wait. 1 second.
I don't need.
Hold
I'm
on,
still
hold
Jewish.
on, Hold on.
You know why? Because I can be repentant on my deathbed.
A Jew recognizes that oneness relationship between God and man.
No, wrong,
And you're inside of it.
wrong. That's not what a Jew is.
By the way.
This is the conversation.
By the
What's
way.
your name?
Chris.
Chris, this is your conversation.
By the way.
Jonathan,
Why-
what
by
is a
the
Jew? Jonathan, a Jew is blah blah blah.
By the way,
Jonathan, I'll tell you what a Jew is. It's something other than
Jonathan,
blah
by
blah
the
blah.
way,
It's ridiculous.
by the way,
I'm telling you what a
by
Jew
the way,
is, and you're just
why
talking
you
rubbish.
why you jump like this? But calm down.
You haven't let me tell
Yeah,
you why I
okay.
have a right to live in Israel.
Okay.
And why I'm a
My point
Zionist.
is, my
If
point
you
is
want to hear
to
it,
you.
I'll tell you.
My point is to you again. Even though you have no right for this, because at the end of the day, the people live there in harmony. Jews live there. Arab Jews live there. Even Ashkenazi Jews used to go and do the pilgrimage every year there. They have no issues with this. When it comes to import or to bring or to insert people who are not from there, from Europe, just because their great ancestors they came there, or so-called their ancestor came there, which is even the origin of that thought. Herzl, he didn't care about Judaism as a person. He didn't care about any faith. He was atheist. Do you mean he was atheist, meaning he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't care about God. That's how he is. That's this comeback. That's this comeback where Herzl.
I want you to understand.
Yeah.
I want you to understand because Herzl is really important here.
Yeah,
Okay?
Herzl is a comeback.
I want to give you my second reason why I may actually go and live in Israel.
And by the way, let me finish something. And I'm saying this to everyone here. Not necessarily Zionism doesn't represent Judaism. Zionism,
it does. There are lots
it
of
doesn't
Jews who are not like-
represent.
I wasn't brought
It
up by
doesn't
Zionist Jews.
represent.
My
It does
parents,
not represent.
my parents.
That means your parents
my
are good,
parents
not
were not
unlike
Zionist
you.
Jews. I wasn't brought up in a Zionist
That means your
school.
parents are better than
Hang
you.
on a second. Good luck to them.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
parents,
that-
I'm sure my
that-
parents
yeah, they are
love me.
better than you.
Fine. I don't. They
That they are respectable people.
Fine. You can respect them. You can disrespect me. But
Yes,
let me
yeah,
explain,
that's what I
let me
mean,
ex-
yeah.
Let me explain to you, Mohammed.
Yeah.
Why Herzl is important in this discussion. Right. The reason Israel exists. The reason there's any point in Israel. Like the whole point. Why is that? Why would Jews in their right mind go and set up a ethno state armed to the teeth in the middle of a hostile region? Why would they do that? It's insane, right?
Do you know why?
Look at it today. You know why? I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because of
The
Herzl.
European, do you know why the European wanted this? Because they said,
No, I'm not asking
we
why the
will just
Europeans
get
want it.
from
Why
this
would
problem.
the Jews want that?
What?
Why do Jews want Israel? Why do they have it? What's the point of Israel? You tell me what you think it is, because I know, and that's why I'm probably going to go and live there.
Yeah, okay, good for you. But at the end of the day,
You didn't answer my question.
No, but no, don't answer my. It's my question. Do you think that you can?
Why do you do this?
Can you figure out the
You
answer?
hit me, by the way. What's going on
Sorry,
here?
it's only like-
Is this part of the idea of plan?
I'll give you a hug.
No, I don't want your hug. I'm
want my
okay.
hug?
I'm okay. I'm happy.
I'll give you a virtual hug.
No, okay. Stay away from me.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So the reason I have the right to live in Israel is because of what Herzl, the atheist, set up, right? Which is it's a haven for Jews, who are running away from anti-Semitism. That's why it exists. That's why Israel exists. That's the whole point of it.
But Ashkenazi, they're not
we have to discuss-
Ashkenazi, they're not
It doesn't
Semite.
mean- I don't mean
Can you
I don't
understand
mean
this?
anti-Semitism as in anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semite.
I mean anti-Jewish.
Listen,
But the
yeah.
thing is-
So you keep mixing things.
It's just
The
a
thing
word.
is-
Anti-Jewish.
The thing
Ashkenazi.
is-
No.
Yes.
By the way, Semite, we are Semite people. We are Arabs, we are Semite.
Muhammad.
What's your problem with
Muhammad,
this? We are Semite people.
anti-Semitism is a weird word.
No.
Right, okay. and
Weird
Islamopho-
word. They try to say-
I'm Islamophobic, but I think you're a lovely human being.
Yeah,
But
of course
I'm
you're
afraid of Islam.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it.
You're not
I
afraid
am.
of it. You're
I am afraid
Islamophobic.
of
The hater.
Islamic
The
terrorism.
Islamophobes
Yes, I am.
are a hater of Islam.
No.
Are you a hater of Islam?
No.
Don't say
Phobia
so.
doesn't mean hate, it means fear.
No, not necessarily.
Yes, it does.
No,
It's
there's
a stupid
action.
word.
It's action. There's action. The same
Fine.
thing.
Anti-Semitism is a stupid word which really means prejudice and a threat against Jews. That's what it means.
But
So
again,
stop getting obsessed with
if
whether
you
I'm a
are
Semite.
again, that's why Herzl he was saying about bringing this Semitic
Do you
thing.
hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you say.
Do you
I hear what you
hear
say.
that
I hear what
me
you
and
say.
millions of Jews around the world have made aliyah? They've gone to emigrated to Israel. Why? Yeah, at least in part, if not in full, because they felt safer there than in their homeland.
Are they safe there?
Yes, I don't think so.
So that's my point.
Okay, but
my point is
that's their decision.
so
they feel more together there. They feel that if they're going to die or be killed, they do it with their own people.
Actually, if they live the people as they are, if they live them the way that they are, and they went to do their pilgrimage every year as norm, and they do and the Jews who lived there for centuries, they had no issues. For centuries, Jews lived in Syria, in Palestine, in Egypt, and all around the world. They still
Jews were oppressed for
nonsense.
years. Yes, they were.
Nonsense.
They were there for 1,000 years.
Nonsense.
And every few
Nonsense.
years,
Some of them. No, nonsense.
Yes,
nonsense.
nonsense.
Even by the way, the
they
Iraqi,
were living as
the
dhimmi in a Muslim
King
state.
Faisal. By the way, the King Faisal of Iraq, when he ruled Iraq, that even the Jews they flourished during his time.
Of course, they did. There was a king before King Faisal.
Which one? I'm talking of the Faisal the First.
Yeah, but there's lots of kings of Iraq. He didn't live for 1,000 years.
My point is, my point is, still, those are, we are Semitic people. We deal with each other. Those you are not Semitic people. Why you? We are cousins. We deal with our cousins the way that we sometimes fight. We sometimes have peace. No, we are cousins. We're cousins.
You know what?
My point is,
Mohammed,
yes.
Mohammed, listen to me carefully.
Yeah.
Right. The reason Israel exists, yes, the real reason exists is not because of God and the Bible.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it's not because of that.
Yeah, that's how
it's because
it's politics.
It's because it's politics.
Good.
And the politics of it
so
are
politics.
Yes, the politics.
Let's discuss politics. Let's discuss politics.
Let's discuss
politics.
The politics of Israel.
So politics.
And the politics
let's discuss.
of Israel. Very
Listen,
simple.
put the religion on the side. Let's discuss politics.
Okay. Here's the
now,
politics.
if those Vikings who came from wherever they wanted to come to take over England, people will resist. That's politics, correct?
Yeah.
That's the norm. Absolutely. They will not accept them. You can't take our land. You were here, yes, sometime, but it doesn't mean you have a right to come back. They will kick them. They will fight them. When they are fighting them, it doesn't. We make those people actually heroes. Heroes who are fighting. 1 second. Those English people who fought the Nazis, by the way, they were heroes. They were fighting the Nazis because they were invaders. They tried to invade other people's territory.
I agree.
And by the way, what was Hitler's idea? What was Hitler's idea? Homeland of the German. He wants, isn't it? His idea, he wants homeland for the German. That's his idea.
No, it was
yes,
not. That's absolute rubbish.
Okay, listen.
Germany is the homeland of Germany.
Listen, no.
Why would you want to invade Poland?
Actually, no.
Poland's not Germany.
I will tell you.
It was never Germany.
By the way,
no one speaks German
by
in
the way,
Poland.
I will tell you what. The history of the German, which is the Germania that I wanted to say.
Why did they invade France?
German. 1 second.
That's not Germany.
I will tell you. The issue is that's his idea. I'm discussing his. I'm not pro his idea. I'm talking about his idea. He wants Czechoslovakia, which he said that is an ancient area for us. This is an ancient Germanian area. Not even part of Poland was an area of Germania, according to him. And as well, part of that he was expanding. He wanted to take
the whole of Europe and then the whole world.
Later
Italy
on,
Greece.
what he was thinking now here, hold on a second. When I'm taking these areas, you don't think that people will be quiet. They will fight me back. So when they are fighting, instead of me being just only defensive, now I will be offensive. I will fight them. I will take over France. I will take over other things. So this is politics.
Oh yeah, great.
So
and the Israelis have done that. Yeah,
the Israelis
they've taken Lebanon and Syria and Egypt
and
the United Arab Emirates.
Exactly.
They've taken over the whole area.
One second. Did they take Sinai? Did they take Sinai?
They gave it back.
1 second. They took Sinai. Why?
They took Sinai in an offensive war.
That's my point.
Okay, and
so
they
exactly
gave it back for peace.
That's what
they got it for peace.
That is what Hitler did when he took over France. Exactly what he was as an offensive. He did this in order to defend himself. He took over France. It's exactly. You are just imitating them. You are imitating Hitler. You are imitating Nazis.
Excuse me, I'm not anything. Okay, I'm not imitating.
You are
anybody.
Zionism are imitating Nazis.
Have you heard of Canaanites? Have you heard of them?
Yeah, of course, they're in the Bible.
Yes, Abdullah.
Do I believe in the Canaanites?
Do you believe that they exist?
Okay, pray and leave.
Okay, so if you believe
I need to go now.
One second, listen to this. If you believe the Canaanites, you're all about it's Israel's land by right and everything. But if you believe the Canaanites existed, if you want to talk about that, then really the land originally belonged to the Canaanites.
The Canaanites should have right of
So if the
Canaanites, let me tell you something. If there are a bunch of Canaanites in all across the world, and they were being oppressed because they were Canaanites and they wanted to have a land that they could defend themselves in, right? And they were going to come and take over Israel and
so what they're going to do?
to Israelis,
No, what,
they
no,
could come. But there's no such thing.
Do you think
there
they're
aren't any
peaceful?
Canaanites
Do you
today.
think they're going to come in peaceful?
There's no such thing as Canaanites.
Suppose this. They will come
in peace, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it will be fought.
No, they wouldn't.
And then you'll have the right to defend yourself.
No,
and then that's how
they wouldn't.
Listen, it's just only what you're doing. You're just repeating exactly the Nazis.
No, but I'm not even saying just let them back.
So my advice to you firstly, which you made all horrible mistakes about the Quran. My advice to you, go read the Quran properly, understand
I
it.
can't read the Quran, it's so dull.
That's fine. That's up to you. At the end of the day,
It's so
that's up to you.
have any order to it.
I agree with you.
Yeah, by the way.
Why would God write?
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't, that's how it is.
Yeah,
that's how it
have
is.
failed me.
No,
You have.
I don't care.
You
I don't
avoided
care.
the big
I don't
question.
care. I don't care.
You avoid the question
I
of
don't
Islamic
care.
violence.
I don't care.
You have.
I don't care. Again,
And
the
next-
Islamic,
are you gonna
the
come back
Islamic.
next week?
I will come, inshallah. My point is
We'll talk about-
that,
I want to do your
and the
homework
same
on
thing.
Islamic
Before
violence.
we go to the Islamic violence, let's go about Zionist violence. Let's discuss this.
I
That's
think
our
Zionist
discussion.
violence is nothing compared to Islamic
Nonsense.
violence.
Nonsense.
Islamic violence is a plague
You
in our
know,
world.
think about if every single Muslim, the 2 billion Muslims, if they were violent, there will be no human being on earth.
I'm not
For you
saying
to know.
everyone. I'm
For
saying
you to know.
way too
Just to
many.
know. And this,
but how
and
many-
all of them, vast majority of
but
them,
Mohammed, how many?
vast
There are
majority
no
of them,
international Jewish violence.
vast,
The
no,
only
the
Jewish
international,
violence is in Palestine.
You done
in the
enough.
Middle East.
You done enough. You done enough as I just
Mohammed,
you guys have
how
done
many?
enough.
How many? What's the percentage
Thank
of
you. Nice to meet
Islamic?
you. Are you sure you don't want a little?
No.
handshake?
I don't deal with pro-Zionism. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. If you are a Jew with no Zionist, I'm happy to hug you, no problem. But when you are pro-Zionist, I have issues
So
with this.
you want Israel to be destroyed?
No, I want people to have peace, to have harmony, to go back the Palestinian, as you mentioned,
if you call
the
people
Palestinian.
like Nazis, you're not going to have any peace.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's how
nice
it
to
is.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How much percentage of the Islamic world would you say are extremists?
What?
How much of the Islamic world would you say is extremist?
Even less than 1%.
1%?
Less than 1%. Even doesn't even reach 1%.
Not like 5-10%?
No, at all.
See you next time, inshallah.
All right, salam alaikum. My point is, my brother Chris, read more about Islam. You never do. Anyway, Jazakumullah khairan, inshallah. May Allah reward you all. Let me just wrap up. May Allah reward you all, my brothers and sisters. And alhamdulillah, we had a good discussion. At the same time, my point is to everyone is actually, we are not a Jew haters. But when it comes to someone who is pro-Zionism, pro-IDF, and the ideas of the IDF and all of these things, that's something which I can't accept. And that's a thing here which we as Muslims, we don't endorse such things.
That's the reason I smelled right
And
from the very
is,
beginning.
and that's why we have to understand that those people who try to endorse their ideology on us, they try to legalize killing innocent people and to say, and babies, to legalize it, to say, okay, that's bad, and then they will turn the table to say, oh, it's you Muslims who are terrorists, it's you Muslims who are attacking us.
They're following the Bible,
Subhanallah.
Sheikh.
People, Muslims, Jews, Christians, they lived in Palestine for centuries in peace and harmony. And as soon as those, what do you call it, European coming in, they start fighting people. And even he was saying they were resisting. Of course they were resisting. What do you expect from them in 1940? And then they wiped land. They killed millions of people. We in Jordan, we have nearly 6 to 7 million Palestinian origins living in Jordan. They wish to go back to live in their land, in Palestine. Yeah? And they're also our brothers and sisters in Jordan. We as well in Lebanon, millions of Palestinians and all around the world. And they said they have right themselves to go as a Jew. Even Ashkenazi, they said one time he will say, due to the faith. And he will use the faith, well, he's an atheist. He was using the faith that he has right to go back because of the promise of God to them. But at the same time, he's atheist. He doesn't care about religion. The same thing as Herzl and those people. So anyway, that's the conclusion, inshallah ta'ala, for today. May Allah increase us all in knowledge and iman. Wa jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.